and welcome to Pandora's Box. This is Kaleah, and today I'm going to talk about the fall of narcissism and planetary transformation. Have you noticed that the world seems to be in serious chaos right now? There are hurricanes, earthquakes, flooding, fires, shootings, and a threat of war. With the media constantly bombarding us with all the atrocities going on in the world, we barely recover from one thing when there's another. Many clients contact me in crisis, and many are concerned about what's going on in the world. So I thought it was time to make a video to share my perspective and also give some tools on how to cope and some hope. There's a lot of talk out there about our being in the end times. Well, in a sense, we are in the end times and the beginning times, because the earth is undergoing a massive transformation and we are transforming right along with her. I was watching a video the other day about the book of Revelations, which according to many belief systems is all about the end times of humanity. But in this video I was reminded about something I actually spoke about back in the year 2011. Revelations is actually the time of the great revealing. Revelations is interpreted to mean the apocalypse, which is a word that terrifies most people because it's interpreted as an horrible ending to humanity. But the word apocalypse actually means an uncovering. It is a disclosure of knowledge or revelation, which is where the book of Revelations comes from. Back in 2011, I sat on a panel of people who were talking about the significance of the year 2012, the ending of the Mayan calendar. Each of the 6 panel members were given an opportunity to present their ideas of what this time meant. I talked about how we were entering an age of transparency, where all that was hidden would be revealed. Many spiritual people believe we are indeed in the time of revelations. But this is often interpreted to mean we are in a time of great suffering, death, and destruction. And although there is great suffering, death, and destruction going on, as there always has been, there's also something very positively powerful going on. The earth is moving to a higher frequency, which is causing not only a purging of Mother Earth, but of its people. Once we're fully anchored into this higher vibration, we will be entering a golden age, or an age of peace. Many refer to this new level of awareness as being the new earth. With every beginning, there is an ending. As an infant is born into the world, it leaves the security and safety of the womb. Where the leaves fall off the trees in the fall, they sprout forth anew in the spring. Life is cyclical, but because our lifetimes are short, we don't consider the long cycles of the earth in its transit through our solar system, such as the 26,000-year cycle through the different ages that we call the precession of the equinoxes. This refers to the gradual shift in the orientation of the Earth's axis of rotation. There are various ages that we move through as the Earth transits: the Iron Age, Bronze Age, Silver Age, and Golden Age. The Hindus refer to these ages as the yugas. A complete yuga starts with the Satya Yuga and ends with the Kali Yuga, which is the time we are supposedly at the end of right now. Satya Yuga, also known as the Golden Age, is the first and best. It was the age of truth and perfection. The Kali Yuga, the final age, is the age of darkness and ignorance. People become sinners and they lack virtue. With each age comes a level of awareness or consciousness in the human psyche. We're actually moving away from the dark ages and into the age of light. But as the darkness is falling away, it fights for its survival. It's taking its last stand. The great revealing that is upon us is showing us both the darkness within us and the dark agendas of the world. And the more the dark agendas are exposed to the light, the more they lose power. The power of the dark forces can't operate in the light. Its power is in remaining hidden. Although it seems we're also in an age of narcissism and live in a highly narcissistic society, the narcissism of our society is actually being exposed in a big way right now. When I started working in the field of narcissistic abuse nearly 15 years ago, there was very little information out there on this topic, and there were few people writing and talking about it. Now there are hundreds of people specializing in this field. It is because the narcissism of our society is increasing. Or is the narcissism of our society merely being exposed and brought to our attention? I do believe the narcissism of our society has increased quite a lot because our society rewards the narcissistic qualities having to do with how things appear rather than how things actually are. People are not as vested in the truth as they are in how things look. It seems more important that we look good and we have the money and the power and the possessions to show our success than it is important to actually feel good on the inside, to be in integrity with oneself, and have a sense of meaning and purpose in life. Of course, I'm talking about the greater society here. There are many people who are waking up, so to speak, and migrating towards the values of truth, integrity, and spiritual awareness. In the awakening world, people are very interested in being authentic, in finding their purpose, and living a life of meaning. In the awakening world, people are choosing to align with love, to forgive themselves and others, and to develop an attitude of gratitude for the blessings that they do have. In the awakening world, people are moving away from narcissism, leaving difficult personalities behind, and aligning with like-minded and like-hearted others who live by the golden rule. There is a sadness sometimes in letting go of loved ones who refuse to shift, to develop awareness, to learn or to grow. But letting go of those who choose to remain unconscious is necessary. In the awakening world, there's an awareness that every human being has the ability to choose either love or fear. And they will live in the world they have created with their choices. Is there more than one world? Absolutely. There are many dimensions of reality happening at one time. And the great revealing is showing us this. But we're in a period of time where there is a timeline split happening. There are two predominant paths of reality going two different directions. One reality is based on fear, and the other is based on love. So when we find ourselves needing to let go of the fear-based people in our lives, it is the natural result of our timeline shift. We can no longer exist in the same reality because on the new earth, the earth that is coming into being, there's no room for fear. If we choose fear, we will choose to go along the timeline of the earth that is falling away, and will likely live in the world we create with our fearful thoughts and beliefs. We will align with others who are living in fear, and we will be slaves to the fearmongers who seek to control us through fear. When we let go of fear and align with love, we can no longer be controlled. And those who wish to control us through fear will have lost control. Fear-based people may pull away from love-centered people because they can't control them or relate to them. And love-centered people will pull away from fear-based people because they no longer wish to be controlled or treated disrespectfully. There is a massive polarization happening on the planet right now. You may have been made aware of this during the US political elections in 2016. This polarization was not one of love versus fear, however, because the top choices for presidency did not represent those two choices. They represented two fear-based choices. What caused the polarization was the belief systems of the people. Each camp was operating from a belief that the elected official has the power to save us or destroy us. With the great revealing, many awakening people could not align with either choice because they were aware that the leaders of our country are simply puppets who are manipulated to do the bidding of the world powers. But those who still believed that one choice was better than the other were fighting like cats and dogs for their beliefs. With all the upheaval, many quietly stood by and held firm in their alignment with the vibration of love. It became even more clear to those who had eyes to see that our thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and imagination are actually what are creating our reality. We had to start dreaming, imagining a new world into being. We had to start visualizing the world we truly want to live in and aligning with the people we wish to be in community with. The law of attraction is called a law for a reason. It's every bit as much a law as the law of gravity. So how does the law of attraction play out when 2/3 of the world is attracting a fear-based, hostile planet, and 1/3 of the world's population is attracting a love-based, heaven on earth reality? The answer to that question is the timeline split. There are 2 or more separate worlds being created. It's difficult to wrap our minds around this because our minds have been conditioned to see the world as fixed rather than fluid. For example, if a fetus in the womb only knows one environment, it can't imagine what is coming. It can't imagine that there will be a birth. It will be evicted from its safe, warm, fluid-based existence into a completely different reality. Nevertheless, even though the fetus cannot imagine what's coming next, it is still coming. That fetus is still heading toward a new birth into a different reality, whether or not it can comprehend this. If you believe in life after death, reincarnation, and parallel realities, you know life is much bigger than most of us can wrap our minds around. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we're so much more powerful than we realize. If we truly knew how to align with our spiritual power and understood how we live in the world we create, we could be using our power to create a powerful new reality. And this is what's happening right now. So where you put your thoughts, what you believe, and what you imagine is huge. Let's talk about how you can jump on board the love train and head to the new earth reality. First of all, it's important to realize that each one of us draw to us energetically the experiences that show up in front of us. It doesn't mean we are bad or we're being punished or anything of the sort. It is the experience we call to us in order to learn and to grow. So each individual who is in crisis or a victim of a catastrophe, a natural disaster, or abuse has chosen on a soul level to be there for some reason. We don't remember this consciously. You may even completely disagree with me and yell at me, telling me there's no way in hell that you've chosen this. A woman, for example, who gets into one abusive relationship after another does so because she's not learning her lessons. She's not shifting her own energy vibration to attract another circumstance. She's stuck in a lower level vibration. We're not blaming her. I was that woman, so who am I to judge? I was stuck in a lower vibration for a long time until I finally started asking the question, how can I change my reality and my circumstances in life? We never want to judge anyone else for what they are experiencing. We're not inferior or superior to anyone else. We're all here to learn and grow spiritually. Some people's lessons are harder than others. Some choose to embrace their lessons and some choose not to. When you see the suffering in the world, turn it over to a higher power and let it go. It isn't helpful to believe that you need to take on the suffering of the world upon your shoulders. If it isn't happening in your own reality right here, it isn't your lesson, so you need to let it go. Unplug from the news and social media. Don't engage in the conversations around trauma and drama. If you need to do something, or if you are feeling bad about what's coming into your awareness, say a prayer. Prayer is much more powerful than most people realize. Dr. Hugh Lin, who brought to the world a method of prayer called Ho'oponopono, learned that if something shows up in his reality, he needs to take personal responsibility for it by saying, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. This is a form of prayer that for Hugh Lin had the power to completely cure an entire hospital for the criminally insane. Dr. Hugh Lin was hired as a psychiatrist to work in this hospital that had rapid turnover because it was so dangerous. He never saw one patient while he was there. Instead, he sat at his desk, pulled out a file for each patient, looked at the picture in the file, and he said, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And one by one, the patients started getting better and were released from the hospital. It's truly an unbelievable story, but it is true. When something comes to your attention that causes you to feel bad, sad, frustrated, angry, fearful, helpless, or hopeless, focus your prayers on that situation or person. But I don't recommend that you go looking for all the crazy stuff going on in the world. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So the best coping mechanism for all the crazy in the world is to unplug and focus only on what is showing up right here in your reality. What is in your immediate reality is what needs your attention. You are where you are for a reason. So focus on what is happening where you are, right in front of you. If you have people in your life who are really difficult to be around because they are angry, fearful, disrespectful, or abusive, you can make the choice to distance yourself from these people. If the people around you are constantly engaged in the drama happening all over the world, and all you are hearing is ain't it horrible, it's okay for you to distance yourself from these people, or at least from these kinds of conversations. You don't have to engage in it. When we keep saying, ain't it horrible, we are lowering our own energy vibration and engaging in fear-based thinking. Yes, the events happening in the world are horrible, but we don't have to emotionally identify with every single suffering human being on the planet. We all have been given our fair share of suffering, and it's our own suffering we need to deal with, to transform. It isn't about shutting off our feelings or having no compassion for the suffering of others. This is where our prayers come in. For example, if you just learned about a tragedy such as the Las Vegas shooting and feel terrible for the victims and their families, offer your prayers, but don't feed the drama or align with the fear. If you feel moved to send money to victims of floods or hurricanes, then do so, but also send your prayers. Praying is your only way of turning it over to a higher power so you don't have to carry it on your shoulders. You have enough to carry on your shoulders. Aligning with peace and love is the most powerful contribution you can make to the planet right now, because love is an energy vibration. And the more people who align with the vibration of love, the more the vibration of the planet is lifted to a higher level. The more you find peace within yourself, the more peaceful energy is being contributed to the planet. The more fear, rage, and anger you cultivate within yourself, the more fear, rage, and anger is being contributed to the planet. We all carry an energy vibration, and that vibration contributes to the whole. So look very closely at what you yourself are contributing. Many listening to this video have been through narcissistic abuse. If this is you, this has been your burden to deal with. It is a heavy one, but realize that with the polarization going on, you could no longer stay in such a relationship, because the narcissistic energy is the energy that needs to fall away. It may not look like it's falling away right now, but it's not going to survive the transition. I'm not saying all the narcissists of the world are going to die, but the deeper truth is, if we don't feed the energy of narcissism, it can't survive. Narcissism thrives on the energy of others. It thrives on our fear, our insecurity, our neediness, and most definitely our attention. So we can't give it our attention. We need to turn our attention to our own healing and the expansion of our own awareness. Malignant narcissism is not a person. It's an unconscious energy steeped in service to self at the expense of others. The opposing energy, the energy aligned with love, is service to others. And this is not a self-sacrificing energy. We must love ourselves as we do our neighbors. Self-love is an important part of the service to others camp, because we can't truly live in service to others if we don't respect, love, and value ourselves. Self-love aligns us with our spiritual power, and it is our spiritual power we use in service to others. We're entering the age of transparency. We're in a time of rapid growth and transformation. We're moving into a higher consciousness, higher awareness, and what has been operating in the dark is now coming to light. As we purge the darkness and the narcissism within ourselves, we begin to witness the darkness and narcissism of the world that is falling away. It's a slow deterioration. Nevertheless, it is a deterioration. Let go of fear. Align with love. Say goodbye to the old and hello to the new. We're transforming. We're shifting. A new reality is coming into being. A new world is being born. Are you coming with us or staying with the old? The choice is yours. I hope that you will say yes to the love that awaits you. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.